Hey guys, real quick before we get started, remember that interview I just did with David McIlvaney? It went so well that McIlvaney has stepped up, just like Mike Adams from Natural News, to support SGT Report, which we very much appreciate. So tune into the McIlvaney Weekly Commentary, which is a weekly monetary, economic, and geopolitical news and events podcast that is hosted by David himself. He's one of the brightest minds in the business. So visit weeklycommentary.com right now to sign up. Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in. We really are glad to have you back. And I'll tell you what, there is definitely something very nefarious going on at YouTube. Hopefully all of you have had a chance to watch that video I just posted because they are actively trying to shut us down, the powers that be. And I have David Dees back on the line because David has dedicated himself, as I have, to fighting the powers that be, at least the corrupt powers that be, which are many. And David's back here now to talk about his latest coffee table book. It'll be volume 3. It's scheduled for release in July. And he's pre-selling it now to raise money to be able to print the thing. David, how are you?
I'm good, Sean. Thanks for having me back. We got a lot to talk about here.
Well, I think this is fun because people can actually see you here, the real David Dees in the flesh.
Yeah. Well, look, I sit here at the computer and I do this art and hope that it has some effect.
Well, it is having an effect. And I think in this interview we should talk a little bit about global dimming. I want to talk about Macron winning or stealing or being selected there in France. He's a Rothschild agent. Let's talk about body and spirit and soul. But first, let's talk a little bit about some of your most favorite illustrations since the last time we talked. Or begin wherever you'd like.
You know, I'll tell you where I do want to, I'd like to mention that I really enjoyed your interview with Sophia Smallstorm.
Oh,
because
thanks.
my attention is a lot on health now. People talk to me about that I should maybe put some solutions in the illustrations I've been doing. Because, you know, when you illustrate chemtrails and the vaccines and the things that we're being attacked with, they want solutions. And I say, well, how about you don't take the vaccine? That'd be a good solution. But the effects, okay, with the aluminum that is in the environment that's just poisoning us all, it's causing global dimming. And if you know anything about sunshine, it gives us vitamin D, and deficiencies of vitamin D is devastating to us, especially over the winter. I would suggest everybody get out in the sun. I have the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency here. It's difficulty thinking clearly, unexplained fatigue, thin, brittle bones, you know, impaired immune system. Come on, this is exactly, I think, what they're going for here, is to dim us out and also to poison us. So let's talk a little bit about our health. It's important to me. Most people don't realize that I'm actually going to be 60 years old just in 1 month.
Wow, is
yeah,
that right?
I know.
You look good for 59, my friend.
I've been working on it. Let me tell you is that I got poisoned by the paint that I used to spray. If you know what an airbrush is, I painted for Sesame Street magazine and did advertising in the 80s and 90s, spraying this cadmium acrylic. And if you know, cadmium is just below mercury and lead as far as toxicity. So I'm very poisoned by this for many years and had a very big health scare in around 1990. I had to completely turn around the way I eat and the way I think about my environment. So I am 60 and I feel pretty good. I want everybody to feel as good as I do. Also, Rife technology is helping me a lot. If you know anything about a Rife machine.
Yeah, I do. I know that you bought one too. Is that actually working for you?
I loved it so much I became a distributor. It's a frequency generator. It'd be a little to explain how this works, but it kills the microbes, the bacteria, the fungus, the parasites in your body. And I put the electrodes on my stomach and sleep with it next to me. And for 4 hours, it will clean out the things that basically kill us, because we don't really die of old age. What we die of, and this is from my nutritionist, she told me this, is that we die of an accumulation of parasites that are causing our organs to malfunction, okay? So, and this is what causes you to get old, causes you to wrinkle, and causes your bones and your muscles to degenerate. And so I'm kind of turning that around. look, I see people that are 60, and I don't even tell them how old I am, because when I do, they look pretty disappointed. They
No, I can imagine. You look like a young man, and I think the important part about the conversation here is that people are starting to behave differently and take a look at living longer in a different way. I mean, they say that 60 is the new 50 and 50 is the new 40, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. I don't know if you've seen these YouTube commercials that sprout out all the time of the older man, and he's dressed like a grandpa with a cane, and then he rips off his shirt and he looks like a 27-year-old bodybuilder. I mean, it is possible to reverse some of the, well, I think eugenics is the best way to couch it. It's possible to combat some of the eugenics programs that they've rolled out against us. And I think it's pretty amazing to me that our God-given immunity, our God-given immune systems are powerful enough that we collectively as a species are still alive and kicking after all that's been thrown at us. My God, I mean, between the geoengineering and the GMO foods and the fluoride and the mercury and the vaccines and the fluoride in the water, I mean, it's just an endless assault, which gets us back to that Sophia Smallstorm interview I did, Biological Darkness, the Assault on Humanity. We're under a multi-pronged attack, David.
It is an attack, and it's our ability to think and respond to this attack is so damaged by the things that they're throwing at us. So I would suggest, get outside, go walk in the grass barefooted, and they call it earthing, grounding, grounding into the earth. This will help a lot. Iodine is good for your system. I have given up meat. I know people don't want to hear about vegetarianism, but just a month ago I gave up meat, and I've lost more weight, and I feel great. I kind of sprang out of bed this morning, and I tell you, I hadn't done that for years. So it's health. Once you lose it and you get it back, it's dear to me. That's why I really want to talk about this, and I think that my art is going to lean more in that direction. I've talked about in the illustrations, I've talked about Pizzagate, and I've talked about how corrupt Trump really is, and I've talked about, well, you know what I've talked about. It's a crazy world we're in.
Yeah, so. You cover it all, and of course now they're throwing the madman in North Korea at us like he's the boogeyman that'll bring us all down. When, I mean, come on, they've been rattling that cage. He's been rattling those paper swords for a very, very, very long time, and it just feels like global theater to me more than a huge problem. But meanwhile, Trump has the aircraft carriers headed that way, and it seems like this administration and the neocons that are maybe in bed with Trump or the Zionists want to actively move this nation towards World War III in confrontation with Russia and China. It's absolute madness, David.
Well, we know who's behind all this, and we know who they are. They've taken over America. They are, Macron against Le Pen. We got one. This is the election they just had in France. Le Pen was very against all this flooding of immigrants that are basically destroying Europe. Do you really think that that the other guy, who is Macron, who is very pro European Union, do you really think that the people wanted him? I'm not buying it. I think it's just another puppet like Sarkozy, like Merkel. Here Germany is flooding in, all these people they throw a war in the Middle East and they flood all the people up to Germany. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? But you're looking at that's a war. When you flood in another culture to destroy another, the German culture, you're looking at a devastating war. And it's slow motion. It's almost that people, they play it like it'll be okay. Let's just love the new people. Look, it's over for Europe. So, and it's just as it is in America. But
by design, right? By design. And I just want to say that, that whistleblower, Ronald Bernard, the Dutch banker who blew the whistle on the satanic power structure at the very top, he says 1,800 roughly people run this planet, and they're Luciferians. He was invited to their ceremonies, and he was invited to take part in a child sacrifice, and that was the point at which his soul thawed, and he woke up to the whole thing. And, and actually in that interview, he mentions the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, and he talks about the plan. He says, what's happening right now is part of a plan. Read it. You can call it a hoax, you can call it a fraud, whatever you want, but that appears to be the plan that's rolling out. And in Le Pen's case in France, she said right before the election, one way or another, France will be ruled by a woman, either me or Madame Merkel. And guess what we got? We got a Rothschild agent.
Oh, sure. And she, Le Pen, is questionable as far as if she's a transgender or not. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. It's a frightening time.
Well, you know the rumor about Merkel, don't you? Have you heard Have you heard the rumor about Merkel? It's been suggested that she could be the offspring of Adolf Hitler.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
In a world as crazy as this one, would that really surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me at all. But I'll tell you this, just to touch back on the health thing, is that I realize that I'm jumping boat here, but it's the body and the spirit are intertwined 100%. And to be able to respond to the things we're talking about right now, most people couldn't care. And that's what they want. So, you know, we're talking about as a soldier of truth, and you want to be able to stand up, fight back, and not go along with their system. It's almost hard to. You know, they lure you in with all these desires for physical things that you want, you know, that they advertise to you. So you get what I mean, is that we're not just bodies, but the controllers want you to believe you are, and it keeps you in their paradigm. And it's hard to fight back.
It's really hard to fight back, and you know that's one of the reasons that Sophia and I and our friend William, who is our webmaster, we partnered on this store, survivalmode.us, where you can get healthful products, right? Products that might help you combat some of this onslaught against us, this whole AMA marching orders, this Rockefeller medicine, this Western medicine system is set up not to help people, David. It's set up to hurt people. Have you ever seen the disclaimer on the Humira ads? May cause new or worsening forms of heart failure. In some cases, it causes lymphoma and other rare forms of cancer. I mean, who would take this stuff?
Well, it almost seems like a comedy show when they start reading the effects of the chemicals they're going to push on you. So
yeah, no, I've said that before. It reminds me of the spot on Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. It was a spot for Happy Fun Ball. May cause dementia, vomiting, diarrhea, and it was Happy Fun Ball. It was a toy for the kids that could cause all sorts of ailments, including, in some rare cases, death. That seems to be what we get from some of these big pharma companies. But they wrap it all in a really slick ad showing happy people walking on the beach.
Oh, sure.
Humira must be for me.
Yeah, it's going to solve all your problems. But, you know, at the same time, they surround us with these cell towers, the smart meters, the Wi-Fi, and the electromagnetic, radiation that's coming out of that is completely keeping you blanketed in their world of just perpetual muck. Right?
Yeah. Well, I want to do this. I want to talk about your book, the new book, Volume 3, that you intend to release in July. How can folks help you fund the book? Can we buy the book early so that you have the funds to print it? Is that what the goal is here?
Exactly.
So how do we do that?
I don't really have the funds to print, and so I'm pre-selling it. If you'll buy it now, I will have the money to print. The art here, you might have seen some of the ones, the cover, with the gold and Bitcoin and silver taking off. Did you notice that Bitcoin is up to $1,500 now? So we're looking at
$1,700 as of this conversation.
No, is it 17?
Yeah.
Because I have a half a Bitcoin. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, I've got a small handful. I mentioned about a year and a half ago that I thought people might want to diversify a little bit just to have some skin in the game in case the thing went to 10,000, as the WebBots and some of these others have predicted. I just thought a little skin in the game will make you feel a lot less sick to your stomach than not having any at all. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know.
10,000. Well, you know, that could happen. So your question about the book. So yes, I have 3 books now. The first 2 books together have 230 full-page illustrations. And if you go to my website, the only place you can get them is from me. I don't sell them on Amazon. I don't sell them anywhere. It's just through me. So, and I often sign them. So if you go to my website, and I'll give it to you, it's ddees.com. That's spelled DDEES.com. And all the information is there to get your books. And they're only $20, so for God's sakes. It's the best coffee table book you can get. It wakes up your friends and family. You set it on your coffee table. If you're having trouble talking to your, anybody, hand them the book. They love it. Anybody that disagrees with what the information is in the book, they love the art anyway. I mean, I've had people say, I don't believe some of this. I prefer to watch Fox News, but you know, I was very entertained. And other people, the truthers, say it's amazing slice of history, in the sense that I tend to document what's happening at the time, you know, and it's beautifully printed. It's heavy art paper. It's glossy.
Yeah.
So
no, I can attest to that. I have the first two, and they're beautiful books. And I would say this, you're always ahead of the curve, right? Because something that I see happening with your art is it mimics what's going to happen in the future. And a great example of that are some of your vaccine pieces, right? The family being tied down with the baby being, you know, taken by the police and forced vaccinations. And of course, now over the last year, we saw criminal Governor Jerry Brown in California sign into law SB 277, which is forced vaccinations, regardless of whether or not you're going to homeschool your kids or send them to a private school. If you want your kids to go to school of any type in California, you will take the government love needle. By law, by force. So now we're being asked to trust these big pharmaceutical companies and the government to not hurt us with whatever's in those shots. And the most tyrannical thing I can imagine on planet Earth is that, David, because who's to say, even if all the vaccines now, right now, we're 100% safe, which I don't believe they are, but even if they are, what's to protect us from a nefarious corporation or a nefarious plan in the future to rolling out some sort of death vaccine to cull the population? And the people in California are going to be required to take it by force. And your illustration spoke to that long before SB 277 became law.
That's true. Well, I just had the idea of a checkpoint, like a drunk driving checkpoint, but it's, you know, they're checking to make sure you have your vaccine. I think what they're going to do is probably make it so you can't fly, you can't get a passport, you can't do anything like that. You know, if you don't get the vaccine. The vaccine is simply a delivery system, just like chemtrails. They can put anything they want now in the sky and have it fall on you, just like the vaccines.
No, I 100% agree. I've been saying now they are chemical weapons delivery systems. That's what vaccines are. Why do they contain mercury? Why do they contain formaldehyde? Yeah. Why do they contain aspartame and fluoride in some cases? Why? You know, and I have two children who are mildly vaccine damaged. One is on the Asperger's spectrum there, and one has severe ADHD, and it's been difficult. My heart goes out to people with vaccine damaged children. You know, if you're going to have children, you really ought to research this topic before you just merrily go down the lane and have your kids stuck in the arms with needle after needle after needle after needle, right, David?
So true. Well, I tend to cover a lot of these things and try to warn people. I guess that's what the art, I try to use it. It's like a sign that says the bridge is out. If you continue, you might die. You know, that's what the art is really emotionally driven for me. I don't get paid to do it, and I never have. The only way I really make my money back is to sell the books. I haven't made prints. I haven't made T-shirts. I haven't made coffee cups. I just have sold books. And I think that's the one thing, you know, about the internet is that all this information, they want everything to be digital so it can be deleted. With a book, they don't like a book. A book you can pass around. It can these, by the way, my books will survive, at least one of them, for 100 years. And one day somebody's going to look at this book and be amazed that we were trying to explain to people. Who knows where we're going to be in 100 years, but it's a science fiction world we're in now. It's only escalating at incredible rates, particularly with the robotics and the transhumanism and marrying together with the digital technology, and holy smokes.
Yeah. No, your books are definitely an historical record of what we've been going through, and really a testimony, too, to those of us that were informed and wanted to fight back and inform others, which is what your work is all about, and mine. And I would just say this. I would have to believe you could sell 1 million T-shirts with your designs on them. And I've been contacted recently from a company that is in the business of printing up merchandise and then giving the person with whom they're in business, I think it's a 40 or 50% cut on those sales, I will try to track down that email and send it to you. I'm not really interested in that for myself. I'm not sure how many people out there want to wear an SGT Report t-shirt. If that appeals to you, let me know in the comments, but I can't believe too many people would be. But in your case, with your art, I think you could probably sell quite a few of those t-shirts.
Well, now I'm inspired. I'm definitely going to design you an SGT t-shirt. SGT t-shirt, and I would be interested because a lot of these other websites, they want to only give me 10%. You know, if I do the posters or stuff with them, 10, maybe 20. So 40 and 50 sounds really good.
Okay, well, I'll try to dig up that email from you. That was an unsolicited email I got from a company that specializes in doing exactly that. Let's do this. As everybody knows by now, and I sure know it better than anybody, I've got the most supportive viewers and readers literally in the world. I mean, I truly believe it. More than 800 people have stepped up on Patreon to help support us against this onslaught of Google fascism and YouTube fascism as they change the algorithms to filter out truth news. Of course, they're calling it fake news. Let's do this. All of those powerful folks who are willing to step up and help, I wonder if we could get 100 people, David, to pre-order the book. Would 100 help? If 100 people stepped up and, you know, bought a book at $20 a pop, that would get you started on your printing endeavors, wouldn't it?
It would help me so much. And also, if you get 1, 2, and 3, I can give them to you for $15 a book, or even 10 for the first volume. So if you go to my website, ddees.com, you'll see I've got a great special on all 3. And if you get the one, I found that anybody that gets one book, they want all of them because it's so much good information you can share with your friends and your family and wake them up.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fantastic. And I want to ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
All right.
You're a musician. Do you have any music? Do you have a tune that you could play for us that is sort of in the spirit of fighting the New World Order or any of this stuff? Is your music sort of related to these topics in any way? Or do you use your music as an outlet to just stay sane?
You want me to get my guitar and sing you a song?
Yeah. Do you have something for us?
Well, that is put me on the spot, but I'm going to do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Gee. All right, let's see.
I'm not going to edit a thing here, folks. We're going to watch this live. Put David Dees on the spot. He's going to grab his little guitar. What is that, a Gibson?
This is a Guild, an American-made.
Oh,
I picked it up 1992 and played it ever since. So, you know, let's see if I'm even in tune. You know, what I do is I go to play the last 3 years at a nursing rehab home here in town. I live in Oregon, and I sing for the people there. Let's see. Well, look, I mean, anything that makes you feel good, I think would handle that.
Mind, body, spirit, man. Let's stay positive if we can.
All right, let me see. I got to pick the right one. Very positive. I don't want to pick out anything too hard.
Well, you can do whatever you want for this audience. We're all in tune. You know what the beautiful thing about our audience is that no matter what you play, it's going to resonate with us. It could be positive, it can be powerful, it can be even a little negative as it relates to those that want to crush humanity. So give us anything you want.
You're putting me on the spot. Okay, let's see.
It can even be a cover of a well-known song.
Look at how many different songs I got here. I mean, I'm looking at all this going, it's got to be the right song. Let's see. I know that. Well, you know, when I play for the folks at the nursing home, I'll just do it like that. I'll go. There's a yellow rose in Texas I am gonna see. No other cowboy knows her, nobody, only me. She cried so when I left her, like to broke her heart. And if we ever meet again, we never more shall part. She's sweetest rose of color this cowboy ever knew. Her eyes are bright as diamonds, they sparkle like the dew. You can talk about your dearest mate and sing of Rosalie, but the yellow rose of Texas beats the bells of Tennessee. Where I do,
Bravo, I like that very much. Cue the applause.
What's that?
I said I'm cueing the applause sound effects.
I don't know if I want that one on but how about, let's see, I do old cowboy songs like, oh, give me land lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in, let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in, let me be by myself in the evening breeze, listening to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I asked you please don't fence me in.
Nice. This machine kills fascists.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, you put me on the spot, but I don't know.
Well, I love it, man. Thank you very much. I think the audience is going to love that very much, too. And, guys, if you want to support a truth teller and a great guy, David Dees, do go to his website, ddees.com, and pre-order the book. You know what? I'll predict that we'll get more than 100 folks to do it, David. Let's see how the numbers come in, and you can get back to me and let me know, and I'll share that in a future video update.
Well, I sure appreciate it, Sean. It's nice to talk to you again.
Well, it's always nice to talk with you. And, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You are some of the nicest people in the world, and as I've said to my Patreons, you're truly the good Samaritans, the people that will stop and lend a hand. Geez, I'm going to choke up here in a second. All right, I got to go. I'm not going to cry on air. Guys, thank you so much for your support, and thanks for checking us out. And thanks for checking out the new health store, survivalmode.us. And thanks for visiting us at sgtreport.com for real news, despite what Google says, 24/7. God bless.
Try it again. Take 3. It's not time, make a change. Just sit down, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to go through. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy to be calm when you found something going on. So take your time, think a lot, think of everything you've got, for you will still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not. How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go. Something like that.